Good evening, everybody. It's the time is here. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out. I think you're going to like what you see this evening. But before we get started with the meeting, what we'd like to do is I'd like for you all to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. So it's on. I might have to lean into it or lift the gain up a little bit. Is that better?
A little bit.
A little bit? Okay, I guess I'll have to shout. Okay. Anyway, thanks again for being here. The purpose of tonight's meeting obviously is to discuss our partnership with the YMCA. The last meeting we had, which would have been in July, some of you were here, some of you were not, was when we announced that we were entering into said partnership. It's about to come to its fruition, and they are going to assume the management of the facility effective November 1st. So in the last several months, we've had the pleasure of working with the folks at the Y, and I can't say enough good about what a pleasant experience has been. Their level of professionalism, their vision for where we can go forward, and their plan is just fantastic. And I have every confidence that when you listen to what they present to you this evening, I think you'll be as excited as I am, as we all are. This is really a truly great time. We've been through some rough times here, but rough times are okay if you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I feel like we can see that light. And it really makes me feel good because it's exciting, because it's a chance to make it better, and that's what's going to happen. So I am pleased tonight. I think last time we had Matt Clark here, District VP, that's correct. But this evening we have a special guest, Christine Fulford, who is going to be already is the new executive director of this facility. Christine has some amazing credentials, a lot of experience in running recreational facilities and with the YMCA, so we're really, really pleased that we have her on board. I have every confidence it's going to be great. So, as I said, the purpose of tonight is to talk about the future and where we're going. So with that, I am going to turn it over to Christine.
Sometimes I tend to talk soft, so can everybody hear me all right? All right. We're going to try to do a little bit of an overview of a few things for you this evening, starting with talking a little bit about the YMCA and who we are as an organization. That hopefully is going to set the stage for you to understand the direction we take when we're in a community and what we try to do organizationally and really working with communities and how we step forward in our work. So we're going to start off by talking a little bit about our history. Oh, you can sit there for me, thank you. All right, so early in the discussions with the county regarding the possibility of coming in, it was very easy to see by reviewing the mission statements for both our organization and the community center how aligned we are in the work that we do, and that together we're going to be able to really support and continue forward the good work that was started a long time ago with the individuals that helped form this facility and the vision that they had along with Ms. Busson. And we really look forward to just continuing on the work that's already started in the community. and give you a little bit of a background of YMCA history. So the YMCA's were founded in 1844 in London, England. So we've been around a little while, we have some age on us, and moved to the USA in 1851. And there are YMCA's all over the world. So about 120 countries have YMCA's in them, depending on where you are. They may look very different. Our goal is to work with the community. What are the needs of the community? What can we serve that may not be being served? So an example might be if you were looking at a YMCA in Belize, they may be focusing on vocational opportunities and education for individuals in their community, or like the Ukraine right now is focusing on basic needs and mental health for individuals within Ukraine. So it's what is the need in that community and how can we help serve that? Then as you look at more history of the Y, I am very proud of my affiliation with YMCA and the time I've spent. And this is like one of the examples. We just have such a rich history of what we do. When you look at all the things that were invented, started, or influenced by the YMCA, there's so much up there. Most people don't understand or recognize the depth of what we have done throughout history and the type of sports and activities like volleyball, basketball, that have all come forward thanks to activities within YMCA's. We do focus on core values. So being an organization whose mission statement is rooted in Christian principles, core values are important to us. So when you look at culture, you look at the type of programs that we bring forward, you're going to hear us talk about caring, honesty, respect, responsibility. Those things will come forward not only in our employment practices, with working with our staff, but also hopefully if you have youth in our programs or if you're in our programs, you're going to see and hear that repeated throughout your activities at the Y. How we bring that to life is our focus areas. So we have 3 areas that we focus on for activities and programming within the Y. So we are for youth development, for healthy living, and for social responsibility. And I'm going to step into each of those just a little bit to help you maybe get a better vision of what falls into those categories. So for youth development, it's safety around water, which might look like us coming out to local schools, doing activities in the gym, helping teach children how to be safe when they're near water, what happens when a friend might fall into the water, how do they assist if there is trouble and they're close by. Obviously, youth sports is already very strong, and we hope to just continue that. Wellness programs, team leadership, all of that happening within this area. So I am proud to say that I am one of the leaders for teen activity in our association. So believe me when I say we will have teen activities that will happen here as part of my mission within the Y. And then healthy living. There are a lot of different items that fall within healthy living, everything from your group exercise classes to these type of special community health programs. It was very exciting to see that the center is already invested in programs for Parkinson's. And then in addition to programs for Parkinson's, we'll be looking to bring some of these programs. So diabetes prevention, Live Strong, which is a cancer survivor, and anybody who's in a cancer journey, that is a program that supports them. And then blood pressure self-monitoring, which is incredibly important for cardiovascular health. So those will all be community health programs that we hope to bring to the facility. And then in addition, social responsibility. We have many different ways within YMCA's that we bring social responsibility to life. So this is one that really will look different depending on the branch, depending on the needs of this community. The first item on this list, however, AOA, that is active older adult programming. So that is something that we're engaged in almost any YMCA that you visit in St. Louis as a traditional branch. We will do luncheons, that potlucks that we do for active older adults. We'll really try to keep them committed and rooted in the social activity that's so important for those individuals that sometimes feel themselves a little more socially isolated. So, and then some of these are other items that are examples of things that happen at other YMCA's. And then one thing that we would want to hit upon is our annual campaign work. So we do an annual fundraising program each year where we cultivate dollars, and through support of individual donors as well as corporate donors in the community, we use those funds to help subsidize activities within the Y. So if there is a family out there who doesn't feel like they can afford membership, we help to subsidize those. We have application programs that are not terribly complicated, as well as youth sports activities. There are subsidies that are available for individuals who cannot normally afford to pay for those fees. And this is just another little example of all of the reasons why we try to do that. And we just try to make sure that we have adequate resources for the subsidized types of needs that might exist in the community. And then last thing that I will touch on, I believe, before I pass it back over to Matt, is a little bit about our governance. So the YMCA is a nonprofit charitable organization. It's also incredibly important to understand it is volunteer-led. So we are a volunteer-led organization. This kind of helps you see a little bit how that governance works. So the first gold bar at the top represents our association level board, and you can see that our COO, our CEO, our DVPs, they all report to that board and work directly with that board, setting policy and helping set direction for our association. And then locally at each branch, we have a board of advisors. And that board of advisors is really critical for helping us locally make sure we are pushing in the right direction, we are hitting the needs of the community, and really giving us feedback. Are we taking the right steps in the right places? Is it being well received in the community? They are a guiding force for us to make sure that the work that we're doing is meeting what the community needs of us locally. So that kind of gives you an overview of how we manage it and how we run, and how volunteers can lead our cause. And I'm going to go ahead and turn over to Matt now.
Absolutely, thank you, Chris. I get the middle section, but I'm going to talk about a topic that has come up a few times, and that's, we've gotten some questions around identification and members coming through and guests and things like that. Back in 2018, the Gateway Region YMCA was in talks with an organization called Presidium. And Presidium is a standalone nonprofit organization. It's about 32 years old, I think, that started in Texas, and their sole mission was to learn how to keep our kids safe. And there's no higher calling than when you're in charge of people's kids of keeping them as safe as possible. And so we started the work in 2018. I led this for our organization, and 2 years ago we became certified Presidium Guardian organization as a YMCA. You will see some changes to our policies and practices here as a result of that. One of those is in the screening and selection box. The idea is that you put these 8 risk management pieces together, and together you can create a safe environment for kids, vulnerable adults, and our staff all at the same time. And so one of those things is screening and selection. Of course, all of our staff are screened for criminal backgrounds and all that fun stuff. All of our members that are above the age of 18 will also be run through the National Sex Offender Registry before they're allowed membership into any YMCA. And we feel like that's just a really important part of our work. There are some other pieces that go with that to become certified. That's just one aspect, and so we'll actually do an annual assessment on all 8 of these boxes for every individual location to make sure that we're mitigating risk as much and wherever possible. And so this is an important part of the work that we do as an organization. We also wanted to share some of the work that has transpired since the last time we stood here, and we have a few pieces to share with you. One of those is many of you participated in the needs assessment survey that we sent out. And I thank you if you were one of those, because as of today, we were at 586 responses. Of those respondents, 79% have lived in the county for more than 10 years, and 84% of the respondents were former community center members, which we thought was an interesting, kind of tells you the voice of who told us what you all as a community expect from us as the YMCA as an organization. The key findings here, number one for adult programs, if you remember filling that out, we had kind of a focus on adult needs as well as youth needs. expanded fitness and wellness center opportunities, and expanded group exercise classes in all of their forms were the top two things that are bubbling up, and very, very top. The third one is free childcare for when you're here working out. So mom or dad are coming in, you need a safe, friendly place for your toddler to go while you go and expand your spiritual and mental wellness. And so you'll see later on that we're going to act on that one sooner than later. The other couple of things that came up were the Bloomsdale facility. You Bloomsdale users, you are very well heard and did a great job of advocating for your love of that facility. So I can assure you that we have no plans to change anything at Bloomsdale. I know there's some whispers out there, but there is nothing on the radar to change anything. So if you're a Bloomsdale user today, you'll be one on Saturday, November 1st, and into the foreseeable future. So that came through very loud. And then we asked, what are some of the greatest challenges that you all see as community members? And these were the kind of top three things that popped up. The lack of activities for youth during non-school hours. Chris kind of spoke to that a little bit around her passion for teens. And so we see that as an opportunity to lean in. Chronic disease and obesity was the second highest thing identified by this group of respondents as an area of need that the YMCA may be able to help in. I think Chris touched on a few of those pieces where we can lean into that. We also need partners. We've already been in conversations with Mary at the hospital and some other pieces that have started to come together as partnerships because it takes a village, right? And so when you get 2 or 3 or 4 like-minded nonprofits together, we can usually come up with a solution to some of these things. And then the third thing identified was the lack of recreation opportunities and programs. The other finding that came across in our research that we've done since then is this is a very simplified graph that represents a lot of data, as you can imagine. But to me, it pretty well illustrates some of the opportunity that exists. So the red bar is the membership unit count. This is a YMCA phrase. It's not necessarily a Parks and Recreation normal kind of phrase, but we talk about membership units. And a membership unit is a rooftop. If it's one person in it that's a member, that's one unit. If it's got 5 people in that under that rooftop, that's also a unit. We usually see an average of around 2.8, 2.7 people per unit, if that helps you convert some of these numbers. In 2019, the red line, in January, we were at 15, or that was our high water mark, 1,300 some odd units. And then you can see since then, and then this graph, the blue line starts in July of 2023, we've kind of just drifted a little further and further away from our high water mark over the last couple of years. And I'm not sharing this as a cautionary tale, I'm sharing this as an opportunity because the population hasn't decreased. So we think if we listen to what members want and help to just tweak some of the pieces that we're offering and put those at the right price point for the right value proposition, we see that gap there that's getting bigger as an opportunity to start closing. And then eventually the goal is to expand beyond that. So this is just a little bit of a glimpse into our findings. We've also, the commissioners have requested that I kind of walk through how these partnerships work. Like I mentioned last time, we had Tom here and Millie and some folks around Fenton. But I kind of wanted to, we have this graphic that we've used. And this is an example. All partnerships are different, I think we said that last time. But one way, in a generic way, that this could work in what we propose when we start conversations is you could have on the left side an example of a center or any recreational providing organization, and they're going to have their major revenue categories, their major expense categories, and they might miss the mark by $775,000. That's what was budgeted for this community center in 2024. So we flip that a little bit and say, what if we came in and we told you that we could stop, because in that first model, at the end of the year, our accounting team is kind of like waiting, like how much is it going to cost us this year? How much is it not? It's a little bit of an unknown. So we propose taking that unknown moving target and fixing it at a number not to exceed so that you can budget for it, you can plan for it, and you can control it. We take that in the partnership model, year 1 in the middle, and we put that into our top line revenue. In addition to that, you add up those other revenue lines that you saw on the left side, you roll in your expenses, and then we have to manage that as an organization. The service that you have partnered with us to provide is to incorporate the YMCA membership-focused model to drive revenue and control expenses. How do we control expenses? I think early on we had some examples. We had some pumps go down. Hydrotherapy pool fans, that was a tough one. That was a big expense. We were able to work with the county early on and shop that motor out, and I think we saved $800 or something like that.
Almost $1,000.
Just under $1,000. But that economies of scale that we bring when we have 24, 25, 26 facilities, we use our purchasing power to leverage things. Everything from pool pump motors to the paper towels you dry your hands with, all sorts of products and supplies. So that's just one example. I was talking to maintenance today. The paper towel dispensers that we had been purchasing prior were $130, and the new ones were like $35. I don't want to misquote. 30? Sorry, Zach, 30-ish. So it's just things like that. It doesn't seem, $100 doesn't seem like a lot until you do that over and over and over, and you multiply that out across a number of expense lines. The other piece that we've seen immediately is on the revenue side. As a larger organization, we partner with different groups, for example. Many of your insurance programs reimburse us for your membership, for example, right? So when you come in, you scan. That's a confidential agreement between two organizations, so I can't go into details, but I can tell you that that's an example where it was more than double the reimbursement rate that we're going to be able to bring in as revenue versus how it was in the past. It's not bad, it's just different in just economies of scale. So just some examples of how we have been able to in the past and feel like here we can do that again. And now you start going from a deficit kind of a mindset to whatever modest surplus there is, and I have a sample pro forma next, and you take those dollars and you start filling up some buckets. And the really important one for us is the operational reserve bucket is to protect the YMCA. We added this piece after the pandemic because that was disabling for us. And so we realized we needed to have some rainy day funds. And then the really important one for the taxpayers of St. Genevieve County is the red bucket. The red bucket starts getting filled up, and it's sitting there to make sure that this room, these projectors, these chairs, tables, paint, all the maintenance, the HVAC units have a dedicated fund so that 20 years from now, when the rooftop unit goes out, maybe less, we've got a bucket of money to pool from, and we're not having to strain and steal from other county resources. And the center starts to spin its own flywheel and generate its own coverage of depreciation, which is a goal for all of our business units. So the pro forma review, after our early numbers, early forecast, I think this is about a month old, was saying we're probably going to about break even this year, maybe lose $24,000 or $25,000 as a community center based on how all the finances sit. Sarah and I have promised to meet up and make sure that this is updated to the best of our ability, but that's kind of what the early numbers are showing. We're suggesting 2026 is going to be the hardest year because there's a lot of change, there's a lot of startup costs, it's everything from computer systems to paper dispensers, all those things. So in 2026, we look to flip that over into the black, and then in years 2 and beyond is when we really start this reserve accounts line that you see there. You can start to see the exponential growth that we start to fill those buckets up with. And so this is not a short-term partnership. And when I say partnership, this is in no way, shape, or form any kind of takeover, because that just wouldn't work. We couldn't do it ourselves. We need to continue to maintain a partnership with the county and all of its elected officials and employees. This is a long-term plan. As Chris mentioned, we're 180 years old. We like to think what's going to happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, versus the short-term pictures. So that's kind of what our early pro formas look like. And then the fun part, Chris is going to share with you some of our recommendations for moving forward and next steps to help that pro forma come to life.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about how we've taken the feedback and input that the community has given and how we're focusing our next couple of months and what we'll be working on right out of the gate. Obviously, we're gonna be starting this new, things will happen slowly, it won't all happen immediately November 1st, but we wanna give you a picture of how we're gonna try to drive forward and what we're gonna be focusing on as a result of the feedback that's been given to us. So off the bat, we're gonna be looking at our swim lesson programming, day camp programming, youth sports, health and wellness, teens and seniors. So those came through from the surveys of things that we need to focus on, either growing what exists or considering what is out there. If we're already having it, do we need to do a little bit of reevaluation of what we're offering? Swim lessons, that would be actual creation of and providing swim lesson programming. An example of the type of timing that it might take for us to pull something like that forward, swim lessons is a good one, that we have to train the instructor base first before we can start offering that within the facility. So that might be spring that we might be able to expect that. So many of these, there are things that have to happen in advance of them pulling forward, but we wanted to share that these are all program focuses that we intend to create as priorities as we move forward November 1st on. So hopefully you'll be seeing all of these things coming to life in our first year of operation, but definitely this is just a part of the list. Hopefully you'll see a lot more than that. We will continue to ask questions, listen to the members, listen to the community, listen to a board, our advisory board, and push forward into the things that the community is telling us that they're looking for. So one of the top items that you may have heard when Matt was doing his review of the things that came through loud and clear on the surveys was having some type of care for individuals while they're in using the facility for their children. So Child Watch is one of the items that we're currently moving forward on, trying to investigate costs and how we can bring Child Watch into the facility. So this is an example of a couple of Child Watch facilities that we have. Actually, I just realized it's one Child Watch facility, different angles. And, but this gives you an example of what we put into Child Watch. This is fairly standard. Most of the YMCA's in St. Louis, if they've had any recent reservation, this is the type of room that we try to bring to life for the kiddos so that while they're here, they're being active, they're engaged, and they're not too sad that mom or dad is over in the other room getting their workout on. So we'll be working on that. Another top priority is going to be group fitness. So another issue that, again, we heard through the surveys is that there is a desire for a greater number of classes offered, greater variety in the format of the type of classes that are offered, and a little more consistency in if it's on Monday, that it also happens on Wednesday at a similar time so that you can get that workout in the program and format that you're hoping to. So we're putting a lot of emphasis there. An example of how we've already been able to step forward with this a bit is we have a group exercise director out of our St. Louis office is helping support us right now. And we do Les Mills programming and formatting, and they have a resource where we can actually reach out and find out Les Mills instructors that may be close by, and we can reach out and see if we can identify instructors that are willing to come here and teach here that are certified in Les Mills programming. So we're already taking those steps to try to see how we might be able to grow that. If anybody's interested in becoming a group exercise instructor, let us know, because we're definitely going to need to expand that instructor base. So we'll be working hard on that, and this is just, I think, another example of how we have worked with cycling studios just to create a very specific feel and impression for our spinning studios, our cycling studios. All things that we'll be focusing on to help make sure that we bring forward group exercise programming that's very inviting and really engaging and helps people get moving on their fitness journey. Under membership value, so obviously Child Watch would be included with membership. So these are all things that we are going to try to do to help grow the value of the memberships for those individuals that take membership out or already have membership at the facility. So Child Watch would be a part of the service that's provided to you with your membership payment. And then again, group exercise classes are included Use of the courts, of course, and fitness equipment are included. And you'll notice a picture of the water park. And so I have been in the facilities a little bit. I know this has been a very big question. And yes, the water park will become a value addition to your memberships. So that will be part of what you get with your membership to the facility. So I think that is bringing us to the question and answer session. If there is anything I missed there. So we'll take questions that you might have. I might step back. Matt's been involved with this a little bit longer, so he might be a little quicker.
Randy's going to facilitate
Oh.
Q&A.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can
sorry.
moderate that, sure.
All right.
Yeah. So, with that being said, are there any questions in the room? Yes? Can you, we'll probably have a hard time hearing you if you could.
Me? I don't think you'll have a hard time.
Okay.
I was just curious if you have an idea of how much the increase would be of our annual assessment. Based on, like, personally, my husband and I are annual members.
Right.
We only live here 6 months out of the year. We're
Okay.
county, we own a home in the county, we pay taxes in the county, but we only live here 6 months out of the year. We're older, so we don't have children, we wouldn't be using the fitness, and we can't use the water park because we're gone this summer. So I just wonder what we can look at as far as how much of an increase our annual membership might be.
Well, then that'd be a.
Yeah, sure, yeah. So our model is we're currently mapping the membership types over, and what you'll see in our model is no contracts ever, and everything's a monthly fee. And so it's based on youth, teen memberships, a young adult membership, a young adult household, 2 adult, senior. Pretty good, yeah? And so each of those are priced at different price points.
Okay.
And then what you'll do is you'll come in and you'll sign up, and in your case, you're gonna sign up for a monthly membership, and you're gonna pay that every month. There's no contracts whatsoever, and so you'll just come in and say, give us 30 days notice, because you know when you're leaving, and we'll stop your draft, and when you come back, we can restart the draft.
Thank you.
It's probably a good time to talk about rates. So current members is probably gonna be a question, I would assume, I'd be asking. I'm currently a member, I pay X on October 31st, what am I gonna pay for the month of November? And we are happy to tell you you're gonna pay exactly in November what you paid in October on a monthly basis.
So, okay, I just have another follow-up. So we just renewed our membership for a year. So are we gonna be good for the year?
Yeah, we're honoring anybody who has a membership on October 31st, no matter what kind, and if it's an annual, so you pay,
Right.
you're good for 12, then we're gonna honor that through the life of that membership.
Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, the walking track or the walking club, are you going to continue with that? I mean, because I have back issues, so I can't do the programs and that kind of thing, so I do come in to walk.
Yeah, the walking clubs I've seen in some other facilities, the walking club's included in your membership. So we'll direct you to the membership category that would be appropriate for your.
So I would have to pay for a complete membership just to use the walking track?
Indeed, yeah, because we can't control when you come in, if you're using the track or the fitness center that's in the middle of the track, or those pieces. So you're essentially paying a $22 membership for the walking club, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So it's gonna be a membership that you're gonna buy, but your walking club access and privileges will be included in the membership.
So if I have bought like a block of it, like for 6 months, am I going to be able to use that without any issues?
That specific one hasn't come up, but generally speaking, we have decided that we will honor all agreements that the community center has entered upon by October 31st. We will, as a YMCA, honor those.
Okay, we have something over here. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I got a quick one. I had water park passes for this past summer that I wasn't able to use. Are they going to be honored this coming year?
Yeah, same philosophy. Probably not indefinitely. There
Right.
might have to be an expiration at some point, but there's a number of gift cards that we've donated to various organizations. We want to make sure those are still of value.
Okay. In the back, all the way over there?
So I work for the school district, and right now we get like $100 off every year, and our plan renews in July. Are we still gonna be able to get something like that?
Yeah, we have a number of corporate agreements at all of our YMCA's, and so that's what that would fall under. One of Chris's early duties is to get out and meet with our contacts in our, we have about a handful of corporate agreements here, the school district being one of those, the county being one of those, and we're gonna meet with those leaders, and we see no reason that can't continue. But they're all a little bit unique. It's funny how some corporations are like, oh, I'll pay 50%, or I'll pay 10%, or I'll pay whatever that is. So we try to negotiate that out for what works best with the company.
Yes.
A couple questions. We've got silver sneakers, okay? So is the silver sneaker considered membership that we could get in the pool, use that in here like that?
Yeah, we actually, silver sneakers in our Ys are full-fledged members. You're no different. You get a membership card. The only difference is how we are paid, and that's the one where when you swipe in, our system recognizes it. We send the bill, they send us. So.
I went to Bloomingdale, but that's the facility my wife uses a lot. I use it a lot in winter. But on silver sneakers, somebody has to be, the door has to be open so we can go in there and scan it. Now, in the past, we had a way we knock on the door, somebody lets in, and we go up and scan a card, and there was no questions asked. Is there any way they can get around that where later hours and weekend when nobody from the rehab is out there, that silver sneakers people can get in there?
Yeah, as I think last time we said, we're gonna learn as much from you guys as you're gonna learn from us, and that's been identified as a challenge, and we're still working on how to solve it, but it's our goal to solve that, because selfishly, I want you to scan as many times as you can possibly scan, so I'm gonna make it as easy as possible.
One time we went up there during the week and they had to leave early, it was 1 o'clock, and everybody was gone.
Yeah, it's a subtle nuance, but like at our current facilities, since you're a member with the same card as all the other members, there's not a separate scanner, so it makes it just a little bit easier, so we think that will help when we get to that model. But we're gonna solve for that at Bloomingdale.
Thank you.
Yep, great question.
Anybody else?
Just a comment.
Yes.
It showed that the community center is losing $775,000 a year. I get that, but there is some sales tax revenue that offsets some of that loss. The county isn't actually out $775,000 per year with sales. I mean, again,
Yeah.
you need to break it out separate just for the Y in the building.
Right.
But I just want to make it clear that
Right.
the
Right.
facility wasn't losing $775,000
No.
a year.
No,
It was losing
no.
100.
This
yeah.
is just a rearrangement
Sure.
of how it all works, and
Yeah.
that's a good point that you clarify, Steve.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else?
So I've had some people ask me about when they go in there on November 1st, of course, I've been telling everybody, bring your driver's license the very first time you come in so that you get into the system. Then they're asking me, will my same card scan?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the driver's license question is true. On your first visit, you're gonna have to come so that we can run that sex offender registry. After that, you won't have to bring your driver's license anymore. That's a one-time deal. We rerun the membership base every so often, every year, whatever that is. And then it's an interesting time. So we use a system here called ActiveNet, and that's what gets you your access to the facility. That's what you scan and it says green light, you're good to go. At our other YMCA's, we use a different system that we're in the middle of transitioning to a third new system. And so for now, until the spring, I think it's end of March, 1st of April-ish, we will continue on ActiveNet here. We did not want to retrain our staff to learn a system that we knew was going to be replaced in the spring. So we have found a way to continue running with ActiveNet until we bring in the new product in the spring. So that means your membership cards will be uninterrupted, your membership uninterrupted. So it's a great question.
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll use the same cards we have now, is that what you're saying?
Yes, ma'am.
And
Yes.
will you have a list of the rates, how much will a monthly, I don't have silver sneakers, so I'm just curious what my cost is gonna be.
What you're paying in October, you're gonna pay in November and December and January and February.
I've got a yearly, so I don't know what I'm gonna be paying monthly.
It won't change. So you're yearly, you pay one time or you get drafted. I've learned that here, there's annuals that are, you give all the money in a month, and then sometimes there's annuals that are annual get drafted over 12 months' time. Depending on which bucket you're in. But if you have a membership that's good through August, you will not be asked to pay any more. And then in August, you'll come in and see what membership type works for you. Did I answer that okay?
So when do classes start back up?
The current class schedule, I forget when the winter schedule is supposed to start. That's one of our biggest priorities is reworking the group exercise class. I don't know if you know more on this one.
I don't know the start date of the current, but what I would share is what you will find traditionally that we will move to here is classes are ongoing. So there's not a start and a stop. I don't know right now like what the start date back up is, but or next week. Next week. All right. So thank you. It's good to have staff in the audience.
There might be some classes on Monday.
On Monday the 3rd, so thank you. But yes, so then we'll switch over to a format where traditionally classes just continue and schedules get updated. So sometimes you have instructors that have changes happen in their life and they can't continue to do that class at a specific time. So that might have to pull off of the schedule, but the rest of the schedule stays the same. And we keep those front and center within the facility so that you know where to go to look to see what the schedule is. And then if there's changes, we usually use our instructors are great at helping keep communication flowing amongst the program participants. So if we know we have a significant schedule adjustment, then instructors help to inform, hey, grab a new schedule because starting January 1st, there's 4 new classes on the schedule, so make sure you grab that new schedule. So it'll move to a constant flow of, there won't be breaks in that group exercise schedule.
Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead.
Is the pickleball gym, is the gym still gonna be open for pickleball every day?
Absolutely.
Chris loves pickleballers.
Okay.
Not going anywhere.
I'm already looking for volunteers who might want to help come and take pickleball seminars. Our clinics is a really good thing to have clinics within your facility because it's very intimidating for a pickleball, somebody who's interested, and we get so many people who are interested and they see individuals out there playing and they're like, I am not stepping on that court.
I have to be married to a man who taught pickleball in Alaska.
All right. We'll chat.
Will that be on a schedule? I know right now, it's just work, the teams have put it together the way it works for them. Will there be like a schedule for that now?
Typically, you have like a priority usage of your gymnasium that will say, from this time to this time, pickleball is prioritized, and we'll be playing that way. Other individuals who are interested in coming in to play pickleball know that this is prioritized for pickleball. And I want to say it's the only time, because if there's nothing happening in the gym at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and somebody steps in and wants to play pickleball, we're not going to say, no, you have to come in, at 7 o'clock in the morning. But the priority time will be identified on gymnasium schedules so that you know. And I was chatting with a few people earlier, so it sounds like you guys have very
They've got a
typical
really good,
pickleball schedules.
They got it going on, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah, trust me, I tried it and I couldn't keep up with it. Okay, Brian, or
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So currently I'm a non-member. Do you have rates for non-members coming in November 1st? Do you know what those are?
I don't know that we do. So for programs, what we do is we drive membership value. We want people to take out memberships. We want people to live a healthier lifestyle. However, not everybody does. So if you want to participate, you've got a child who wants to play youth sports, they'll be able to do that at the regular rate. But members will always get a priority rate.
Sure. If I plan on becoming a member, I guess that would be my question, is what would that member rate be for essentially family for someone who's not a current member?
So,
we don't have, what I would say is, good.
Yeah, well, we're still working on finalizing a few of those items. So like, what I interpreted when you very first asked, is I thought you were asking about daily drop-in fees.
Right, I know you guys don't do that.
Again, we are still finalizing some of that. So there's a chance that we will maintain some daily drop-in fees, but it will ensure that the members have the greatest value. So we're not going to price daily fees in a way that a daily fee user can come in 3 times and pay less in a month than our members can. So we will prioritize our members as receiving the highest value. But we're still working on everybody here rates stay the same if you're already a member, but then we're working on formalizing what those rates are going to be starting November 1st, and they're very close. I apologize, I can't believe I didn't bring a sheet in here with me, but we have our all staff training on Friday for all of our staff, and they'll be formalized by Friday. So if you call in over the weekend and you want to check in, all those rates will be up at our front desk by Saturday morning.
Okay. Second question, not really follow-up, but a different subject, if you will. Will both gyms be utilized for, say you guys are currently, like, you can't utilize this gym if you're just coming in whatsoever, you don't use that one. Will they be able to be utilized if that one's completely full over there, or how would that work?
Yes, so the intention is, and I'm slightly hesitant, because we're still working out all of the bugs, but yes, the intention is that we will have greater utilization of the spaces over here. Pickleball is an example, the possibility of doing pickleball over here to create just more space, and then also if pickleball is in play, if somebody wants to come in for their morning workout, there are individuals that their morning workout is playing basketball. So it opens that opportunity up to have more options for utilization of the gym if we utilize the spaces here. So the intention is to grow that utilization.
Yep, I'm a morning basketball guy, so that works out.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Again, unless there's anything else that hasn't been covered, we're gonna kind of wind it up here. I just want to, in conclusion, I want to say thank you to everybody that came out. Thank you for taking an interest. On the topic of taking an interest, as these folks have expressed, they want to know what you want. They want to know what you think. So there's an open door policy. Please let us know, let them know what it is you want, and we'll make it happen. So in conclusion, again, I just want to say this is a very exciting time. It's a new beginning, a fresh beginning, and I have, the highest hopes that it will be a tremendous success. Again, I'll reiterate what a pleasure it's been working with you all so far, and I have every reason to believe that it will just continue that way, and good things are coming. So thank you once again for coming out.